Piano notes are obviously fine.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Finch, and I am the lay leader today. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. Whether you have been with this church a decade or more, or this is your first time visiting, we welcome you. Whatever the faith and traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, we welcome you. Whoever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, whatever your journey has been, we welcome you. We now take a moment to acknowledge that the land we stand on was taken from the local indigenous people. Inspired by their culture, may we strive to become better stewards of the earth. Newcomers and guests are always welcome to participate in any of our church activities. If you'd like more information about our church or Unitarian Universalism, please talk to our Director of Lifespan Faith Development, Dana Poss, or one of our board members. You can find contact information for Dana and the board on our website. As our services are currently led by members of this congregation or outside guest speakers, every week will be different. If you're visiting our church for the first time, please come back again to experience the variety of services being offered. Also, if you are a new or returning visitor and you are so inclined, we would love it if you introduced yourself. Please raise your hand and someone will come around with a microphone. Hello, welcome. Here comes a microphone for you.
Now, I'm sure a lot of you,
Green light on. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. You're good.
Now talk.
I'm sure that all of you will remember this oldies from the 70s. You'll have to excuse me, my voice is a little bit rasp. I've been in this church many times as part of the ukulele group, and I find it to be warm and welcoming. Thank you all for what you do. Thank you for your concern and feelings about everyone, for your non-judgmental ways. Keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Susan Minton. This is my third visit. The first one was virtual. I'm happy to be here. Feels very, very warm. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else?
Okay. Please join us for a coffee hour following this morning's service. We have an announcement from the craft group. In case you hadn't noticed, the second holiday craft sale is being held today. You can use cash or checks to purchase some great handcrafted items, baked goods, gifts, or even a treat for yourself. A bonus reward is knowing that your purchases will fund projects that help to improve our church community. Please stop by Friendship Hall or the East Room after the service. See you there. If you enjoy today's service, Robin and Bruce and the fun team invite you to join us this coming Friday for a night of improv games. See the e-news for details. We're also looking for 6 strong folks who are willing to help move Lorenzo Payne's memorial bench to a different location in the Memorial Garden right after this morning's service. So if you would like to volunteer to help do that, please meet Julie Cant by the side doors right here in the sanctuary immediately following today's service. And thank you in advance for volunteering. Again, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. It is good to be together, both in person and virtually. Our opening words today are by Patricia Ryan Madsen, author of Improv Wisdom. The practice of improvisation, in contrast, say, to that of writing or painting, teaches something that we are hungry to understand: how to be in harmony with one another and how to have fun. We practice improvisation not only to express ourselves, but to connect with others in a more immediate way. Our chalice lighting today is from jazz vocalist and composer Bobby McFerrin. Improvisation means coming to the situation without rigid expectations or preconceptions. The key to improvisation is motion. You keep going forward, fearful or not, living from moment to moment. That's how life is. We'll now have a capital campaign update from Carol Balance and Joe Meyer.
Hello. Hey, Joe Meyer. Thank you for co-chairing the capital campaign.
Oh, you're awful welcome. Thanks for doing it yourself.
We would also like to thank the fabulous members of the capital campaign team. Please come up to the stage when your name is called.
Mary Ellen Johnson,
Janet McCall,
Chris Hill,
Dennis Doubleday,
Kathy Finch,
and Jen Suhr, our enthusiastic liaison to the board. I don't know if she's here today.
Lindsay Scott, ex officio,
Come on up. A big hand for this group of super volunteers. Okay, thank you. Please sit down. This is a big project. The following people helped with the many tasks that were needed to get the job done: publicity, lead donor event, and canvassing, Raise the Roof Fest and general canvassing, testimonials, and managing the project itself. Please stand up and stay standing as your name is called. We will only call each name once, even though many of these people did many jobs. Our apologies if we missed someone. We tried hard not to.
Marcia Albright,
John Balance,
Ivan Baumwell,
Sybil Baumwell,
Alan Seifer,
Kathy Seifer,
Mary Doubleday,
Hal Dixler,
Rena Feingold,
Matt Ferry,
Fred Geiger,
Mike Horowitz,
Diana Hall,
Julie Kant,
Kathy Key,
Joyce Kepner,
Nancy Kepner,
Kurt Kuntz,
I'm losing my place, Molly Lundquist,
Lois Madden,
David Miles,
Midge Miles,
Don Nelson,
Susan Page,
Lynn Richards,
Allie Smith,
David Sowers,
Lori Sowers,
Lowell Swartz,
Rachel Swartz,
Mark Swihart,
Amy Terezi,
Aaron Terizzi,
Peggy Trevanian,
Bruce Travers,
Robin Travers,
Susie Wood,
Andy Zadnik,
Allison Zadnik,
Beth Zach,
and the Craft Group.
Stand Up Craft Group. If we haven't said your name yet, oh, you guys can stay standing. If we haven't said your name yet and you made a pledge, please stand up. So that should be almost everybody in the room. Look what we can do as a congregation. We raised $973,020, all of these people in this room together. Give ourselves a big round of applause. Okay, now you can sit down. If you didn't get to stand up, you can still step up and make a pledge. Remember, this is a 3-year campaign and project. You're going to hear a lot more from him in the next couple of years. So if you have not pledged yet, feel free to do so at any time. And now, the rest of you can sit down. Mary Ellen Johnson and Al Cipher have special announcements.
I would just like to invite our resident talented artist, Al Cipher, up to do the drawing for his original painting. And anyone who pledged is eligible to win. You all have a ticket in this bucket. So I'll invite.
Before I pick the ticket, I have to give you a little bit of background on how and why I did this. The painting was sort of an afterthought, and as I walked around this building with my old 4G Verizon pad that has a pull cord to start it up, I noticed that everywhere I looked was sort of boring. So I was tired, and I went to the Memorial Garden and I sat down, and I noticed that the building was elevated a bit, and I was behind the chalice, and I took a picture. It was backlit, and I didn't think it was going to turn out because of the sunlight on the camera. So I went home and I looked at it a couple of days later, and I thought, that's very interesting. And what I noticed was the glow on the rings around the chalice from the sunlight that was reaching over the top of the silos. So even though the profile of the building was in darkness, I lightened it up and I made the chalice, instead of the church, the focal point. So it turned out. And we now have cards for sale, 5 in a pack, and not only frameable, but it's on good 100-pound stock. I found a great photographer in Mars, if anybody's ever interested in digitalizing anything. And he told me it was, you could actually do a billboard with this picture if you wanted to after he got done with the thumb drive. So it is available for sale out in the coffee shop area. And if you'd like to purchase some, it's a good message too, because wherever you send this card, people are going to see our space. Sort of an advertisement. So think about it when you come out.
Price?
Oh, it is $400 a piece. It's $10 for a 5-pack. That's envelopes included. Okay, let's pick the winner. Read the name, please.
Roberts Kavanaugh.
Robert Kavanaugh? Roberts Kavanaugh? Not here? Dave and Kathy Kavanaugh. Okay. All righty. We'll be in contact.
Oh, well, the rest of you just buy cards.
That's right. Cards for sale, cards for sale. Robin.
Our opening hymn is number 1020, Wo Ya Ya, in the teal hymnal. The words will appear on the screen. Please rise if you are willing and able.
Okay, so I would like to invite Young and Heart up on stage, up here with me to play a little game. Come on. Thanks, Cindy. Put these up there because I'm going to lose these in that. Okay, so in improv, there's a game called Freeze that you play where two people or a bunch of people are acting out a scene, and then they just freeze. Someone yells freeze, and they freeze in position, and then someone runs over and changes the story. But we're not going to do it. It's not going to be that complicated. What we're going to do is play it as animals. So what I'd like you all to do is pick an animal in your head right now. Just think of an animal you want to be. And then I want you to start moving around the room, making the animal sounds, doing the animal movements, however way you want to do it. And then when I yell freeze, you need to stop and freeze in that position, and then think of another animal that could be in that position. And then you're going to be that animal. We're going to do it a couple of times. Does that make sense? All right, so Cindy and I are going to be silly and adults. So if any other adults want to come up and be silly, you're welcome. But, all right, so you got your animal in your head? All right, go. Make it a sound. What does the animal make? Meow. 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 Quack. Bunnies don't make sounds, huh? Yeah. You want to make more animal sounds? All right, all right. Freeze. All right, now with the position you're in, what other animal does that? What are you now? Woof. You went from a cat to a dog. What about you? You were a chicken? What's that now? Oh,
I was a duck.
you were a duck before you were chicken. Sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry. That's right. All right, freeze. One more animal. Go. Rawr. I'm a bear. Rawr. Yes. I'm a bear. What are you? A rabbit. What are you? A human?
A goose.
Goose, there we go.
You only think of so many things.
Yes. Rawr. All right. So that's basically how you improv. You just make it up as you go along. No one's telling you what to think. You have to think for yourself. You're just interacting with other people. So thank you, guys. We're going to now sing out the kids to their classrooms. Thank you, Cindy.
Good morning. I'm Susan Powers from the Lay Pastoral Care Team. During our service, we create this sacred space for sharing within our community. It's a time to share significant life passages with the congregation so that you can be held in loving care. I'll be reading the joys and sorrow this morning, and Lynn Richards will be placing a stone representing each joy or sorrow in the sand. The sand represents our congregation supporting our sorrows and lifting up our joys. From Rachel Swartz, A Sorrow. Lowell had a mild heart attack on Monday. He is home from the hospital and doing well. To Rachel and Lowell, we say, we're holding you in our hearts. From Ellen Kuntz, A Sorrow. My father, Ed George, passed away Sunday morning. He passed in his sleep. My family knew he was declining for a few months, and he went quickly in the last few days. It's a relief that he is no longer suffering, and we are thankful he was able to stay in his home until the end. My 4 siblings and I have spent this week together reminiscing and cleaning out, and it has been therapeutic. A memorial service will be held on December 23rd when several grandchildren are already planning to be in town. To Ellen, we say, we're holding you in our hearts. From Connie Ritzert, a concern and a joy. My joy is that I will have shoulder replacement surgery on December 6th. Hopefully, the beginning of the end of a long battle with pain. My concerns include trepidation about the surgery and recovery process, missing all of you, and holiday festivities. To Connie, we say, we're holding you in our hearts. We now place one more stone in the sand for all the joys and sorrows that exist in our hearts but remain unspoken today. We especially think of our church community as we move through this time toward an uncertain, at this moment, future. Please know that the lay pastoral care team is here for you, to listen and to support you. You can always reach us collectively via the Breeze form, our LPCT at uucnh.org, email, or individually as you choose. Please say our caring words, understanding that here includes all watching. Let us hold in our circle of caring each person here. Let us hold in our hearts those who are unable to be here today. Let us know in our memories those who have moved on. Let us find comfort in knowing that we are not alone.
Now, we were searching for an appropriate meditation for this subject, and we happened upon Laughter Meditation by Jagat Singh Bisht on YouTube from 2018. Dr. Madan Kataria developed this method using the vowels A, E, O, and U. Allow us to demonstrate. You can join us or just laugh at how silly we sound doing it. Okay. That was A.
Yeah. E. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do
it. All right.
Let's go to E. E. Okay. We skip I because then we'd just be saying hi to each other. O. Oh. Yeah, you all thought you were Santa, didn't you? Okay. And lastly, ooh. Ooh. And finally, one last cleansing breath to let our sides heal.
We know that the financial contributions from this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. If you're here with us today in person, collection baskets will be passed, or you can take your offering to the basket in the back. If you're joining us virtually, you can make your offering by mailing a check to the church or going to the uucnh.org website, finding the link in the upper right-hand corner that says Donate, and making a contribution equivalent to what you would be putting in the plate or more. Today's Share the Plate recipient is North Hills Community Outreach. North Hills Community Outreach is a community and interfaith-based organization addressing the needs of people in crisis, hardship, and poverty. The morning offering will now be given and gratefully received. Please join me in saying the dedication of the offering. The words will be on the screen. In just a second. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of faith. Today's reading is from Comic Genius and the person I want to be when I grow up, Tina Fey. The rules of improvisation that will change your life and reduce belly fat. The first rule of improvisation is agree. Always agree and say yes. When you're improvising, this means you are required to agree with whatever your partner has created. So if we're improvising and I say, freeze, I have a gun, and you say, that's not a gun, it's your finger. You're pointing your finger at me. Our improvised scene has ground to a halt. But if I say, freeze, I have a gun, and you say, the gun I gave you for Christmas? You bastard! Then we've started a scene, because we have agreed that my finger is, in fact, a Christmas gun. Now, obviously, in real life, you're not always going to agree with everything everyone says, but the rule of agreement reminds you to respect what your partner has created and to at least start from an open-minded place. Start with a yes and see where that takes you. The second rule of improvisation is not only to say yes, but yes and. You are supposed to agree and then add something of your own. If I start a scene with, "I can't believe it's so hot in here," and you just say, "Yeah," we're kind of at a standstill. But if I say, "I can't believe it's so hot in here," and you say, "What did you expect? We're in hell." Or if I say, "I can't believe it's so hot in here," and you say, "This can't be good for the wax figures," now we're getting somewhere. To me, yes and means don't be afraid to contribute. It's your responsibility to contribute. Always make sure you are adding something to the discussion. Your initiations are worthwhile. The next rule is make statements. This is a positive way of saying, don't ask questions all the time. If I were in a scene and I say, "Who are you? Where are we?" etc., I'm putting the pressure on you to come up with all the answers. In other words, whatever the problem, be part of the solution. Don't just sit around raising questions and pointing out obstacles. Now, let's enjoy some jazz improvisation from 4 extremely talented members of this congregation.
Thank you guys so much. I was amazed, guys and gals. That was wonderful. And now you're all going to go home whistling that tune, and people are going to say, "That's great. What's that called?" And you go, "I don't know." So good morning, everyone. We are Robin and Bruce Travers. Robin, I'm Bruce. In 2000, in case you can't read from that far away, in 2012, we were married in this very church by the Reverend Scott Rudolph. And we both have a theater background. And in fact, that's where we met in 2007 doing a show. And during Scott's time at UUCNH, we had an improv group that would perform in Cranberry, and Scott was actually a member of that group. So when we were putting together our wedding ceremony, we gave Scott carte blanche on the homily. And he surprised us by turning our wedding into an improv session. I lost myself. He talked about how the rules of improv can apply to a married life particularly. Yes, and then he called out to our guests and said, let's set a scene. Give me a place. And all of a sudden, one of our guests stood up and yelled back, a church. So Scott clapped his hand and said, yes, now. Give me what did I say? give me an event. Another guest stood up and said, a wedding. Now, Scott kept going with more suggestions from the audience, but honestly, neither of us can really remember that because we were just so stunned at what was happening. Remember, Scott had not cleared any of this with us. We were completely taken aback.
I was terrified. I was like, I am not improving in this dress. That's not happening.
So it was beautiful, a unique, and very appropriate way to include our guests in our celebration. Scott's main message was the importance of yes and in a marriage. A marriage has two people with two minds, but you are trying to make one marriage, one life, and one story. And like Tina, Scott felt that it was important to respect what your partner has created and start from an open-minded place. So once again, the first rule is to say yes. For instance, if your wife comes to you one day and says, how would you like to do a UUCNH service on improv? You say yes. Second rule is to say yes and. And Kathy and I are going to try and do a little example of this.
Okay. All right, so while they're going to do a little bit of improv for you guys up here on stage, so I need your help. I need you guys to tell me a location. Give me a location. Let's not do a church. We've all been that. Let's give me any location. Just yell it out. Florist. Okay, you're at the florist. Now, what are these two people? What? A forest. I'm sorry, you're in a forest. You guys are in a forest. And what are these two people doing in the forest? Lost. They're lost. You guys are lost in the forest. Okay? I think you're good with that. You two are lost in a forest. Go ahead, try to survive it.
Boy, there are so many flowers in this forest. It's like we're in a florist. I didn't even know this was in season.
I really want to eat some of these berries, Mr. Troop Leader. Do you think they're edible? I'm gonna give it a try.
Well, no, I don't think you should. What the heck? Yeah.
Smoky with a hint of broccoli and just a smidge of oatmeal.
Wow.
Give it a whirl.
I think I will try some. I'm getting sweet, yeah. Not so much the oatmeal, more like raisin bran. Yeah.
All right, end scene.
Really good.
So you saw a couple of rules there. In particular, yes and. Kathy made him a scout leader, and he went with it, although he was a really bad scout leader, so that was his and, right? Letting children just eat the berries that are laying around. So, yes, so in having a philosophy of yes and in relationships and interactions allows us to experience more than we would have had we said no. It can help push yourself outside of your comfort zone. It can help you learn more about the person you're interacting with and gain a deeper understanding of them. Choosing yes and can open you to new experiences to see where the scene that's life is taking you. The third rule that Tina brought up was make statements. Be bold, be decisive, which they did as well. They made statements, they decided how it tasted. They were being very bold in making decisions. In a lot of situations, particularly in my job, I find myself in a situation where a solution needs to be found. But all anyone can offer me are questions and obstacles. People are afraid to offer up a suggestion because it could get rejected. Or they offer obstacles. I used to be that person too afraid to step up. Then I started coming here, this church, and your faith in me has helped me gain a lot of confidence in myself. And in other parts of my life, I do speak up now. I make statements all the time.
Thanks for that, UUCNH. but seriously, folks, this rule This rule most reminds me of get-togethers with my family in particular. See if any of you can relate to this, okay? I'm one of 4 siblings. There's 3 spouses. There's 4 children. We all get together, and it's time to have dinner. And so, where should we go? Someone will ask. And, oh, I don't care. Oh, anywhere's fine with me. Whatever everyone else wants to do, I'll do. Wonderful. Everyone agrees, and we still don't know where we're going. Now the suggestions come out. Well, I'd like to get Italian, but we don't have to do that if no one else wants to. And, oh, well, how about Chinese? But I'm flexible. And, gee, do we even have to eat now? I mean, we could wait. I mean, unless everyone else is hungry. No, I don't mind waiting. Well, I could eat now. I could eat later. Okay, so now we all agree. And now we don't know where we're eating or even when we're eating. So it all comes down to a fear to make a statement. Not a fear of open rejection of your statement, but a fear that someone is going to secretly inside reject it, but then outwardly agree, and you don't want to be the one that makes the decision. It drives me nuts until I will finally just say, let's go to Eden Park. I'm making a statement, but I am looking for others to make their statements. If they don't, we're always going to eat where I want to, we're going to see whatever movie I want to, etc. And that's actually sounds great, but it's not really what I'm looking for to make all the decisions. And it's really not good for other people, too, to never get what they want. It's no way to live your life. Making statements is not about declaring, I'm right, we'll do it my way. But it is about saying, this is what I feel, and asking others to be confident enough to say, well, this is what I feel. Improv and life is about collaboration, so you need others making statements. Which leads us to the 4th rule, there are no mistakes.
So in Tina's Fey book, she also writes, there are no mistakes, only opportunities. If I start a scene as what I clearly think is a cop riding a bicycle, but you think I'm making a hamster in a wheel, guess what? Now I'm a hamster in a wheel. I'm not going to stop everything to explain that it was really supposed to be a bike. So here are 2 scenes we're going to show you from our favorite TV show, Whose Line Is It Anyway?, that illustrate this point of making mistakes and how they're not really mistakes. In both, Ryan Stiles and Colin Mockery are pretending to be TV pitchmen selling music compilation albums.
Hey, Colin. Yeah? What comes to mind when I say Ricky Ricardo and great cigars? Oh, tapioca. Really? Why's that? Wasn't that his big song? Tapioca! Tapioca! No, Colin. I'm talking about I'm talking about Cuba.
Cuba. It's a small island.
It is. What do you tell the people about it? Hey, Cole.
Yeah, right.
Here's a little riddle for you.
All right.
What kind of bird always says the name of our next band?
Oh, I guess, tern? An Arctic tern?
And what sound does an Arctic tern make?
Backstreet Boys?
That's wrong.
Well, why don't you tell us what's right?
I was thinking an owl.
Oh.
Who? The Who is our next band on this season.
At first glance, you can say that Ryan did break 2 of the rules. He asked questions and he rejected Colin's answers, essentially ignoring the make statements and the yes. However, the reason we brought those up is Colin used the rule of yes to answer the questions, even though he had no idea what Ryan was looking for. And then Ryan, instead of just he used yes and to accept the new direction and let Colin expand his idea. He didn't immediately say, tapioca, no, I'm talking about Cuba. He asked him, oh, why tapioca? Or the same thing occurred with the Arctic tern, where he asked him, what sound does an Arctic tern make?
Backstreet Boys. He said Backstreet Boys if you didn't catch it. Backstreet Boys.
So even though there was a communication breakdown, they worked together to create an opportunity for even greater laughter.
Life is more fun when you make when mistakes become opportunities. Have you ever gotten lost and found something really cool that you never would have found if you hadn't gotten lost? Have you ever got the wrong order at a restaurant and said, oh, I'll try it anyway, and not send it back and actually liked it? Have you ever said something so ridiculous with your friends and then laughed until you peed because you said it? Some ridiculous thing, been there many times. As someone once said, when something goes wrong in your life, just yell, plot twist, and move on. When you make mistakes in life, they can cause embarrassment and shake your self-esteem. You can feel like it's huge and the end of the world. But if you embrace the rule of there are no mistakes, fear disappears and is replaced with confidence in yourself. It frees you to try new things where the fear might have shut you down. I think Bruce and I don't consciously think of these rules, but we do live them. I think it's the reason we get along so well and why we have so much fun together. And it's the reason we have 8 animals, because Bruce said yes.
And it's probably the reason I do so many plays, because Robin says yes. Even the one time I had to ask to borrow one of her dresses and a bra for one of them.
That's my dress, people. That was hard to watch.
And that actually is not the worst moment we had in theater.
10 Little Soldiers. Yeah.
We were involved in a production of Agatha Christie's 10 Little Soldiers that was a disaster. The set made no sense. There was a scene where somebody got murdered and yet nobody was anywhere near them. One actor could not remember his own character's name. And my favorite, the show is about 10 British people who are trying to figured out that one of them is not who they claim to be, and that revelation was delivered by an actor who was German. Actually, it sounded like, we need to figure out which one of us is lying about his identity. So the audience thought, well, this is pretty obvious. Now, it was early into production when Rob and I both realized this was going to be an epic disaster, and we kind of both regretted signing on to do it. But we didn't quit because, of course, there are no mistakes. And what we got out of it was a lot of laughs, some odd stories, and a really neat bingo game that we played backstage to amuse ourselves. What's going to go wrong? Oh, bingo.
Yeah. He said his name wrong. That's a bingo.
And it is still one of the most memorable shows we have done together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And an example of make statements in our life is that we can discuss our differences openly.
I'm a vegetarian.
I'm a carnivore.
I love the show Criminal Minds.
And I'm actually a little frightened that she liked it. But that's okay. We like knowing each other's honest opinions.
And probably most notably, with religion.
Yep, she will frequently ask me a question about my Christianity, which I will answer, and then she will state,
that makes no sense. And then he might ask me something about being you, and I'll answer, and he'll say,
that makes no problem for me. And on that note, please join us in reading the mission statement for UUCNH. The words will appear on the screen. By building a loving religious community that nourishes the spirit, celebrates life, and cherishes the connectedness of all things, we will transform ourselves and our world.
Our closing words today come from Charles Darwin. In the long history of humankind, and animal kind too, those who learn to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. Go in peace.
you don't play jazz flute? Come on.
I was willing to, as we were doing that, to come in and listen to the Sure.